Kia ora fam. We have a new moon coming up on the 15th. Not sure when I'm posting this. I'm recording this a couple days before. Yeah, let's see what energies Source says this new moon is bringing and what we can do to align with these energies. If you are interested in some journal prompts and affirmations, usually write those up with the full moon and new moon. We took a little break, but we write those up and we post those on our Substack for free, accessible to everyone. And you also get those directly sent to your email if you sign up to our free subscription. If you sign up for our paid subscription, we offer tarot readings and ritual, collective tarot readings and ritual for that specific closed circle. So yeah, let's see what's up this new moon. And if you want to book a tarot reading with us, you can on our website. If you're unfamiliar with me, I am Janina Asiedu. I am a queer artist, ancestral medium, and herbal ritualist based in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Okay. Guidance and affirmation do you have for us, the collective, watching this reading, this new moon coming up on the 15th? We have Yemoja, or Yemoya, the Yoruba Orisha of the waters, divine mother, healing, wealth, nurture, primordial waters. I am worthy of love, joy, peace, abundance. Oh, and I wanted to say the sea as well. And worthy of love, joy, peace, and abundance. So maybe this affirmation is for us to speak over ourselves this new moon, to do ritual with, light a candle, write I'm worthy of love, joy, peace, and abundance on a piece of paper and place it under the candle, to activate and bring life force, warmth, divine spark to your Ashe, your life force, your Modi, whatever it is that you call it. So some of us could be struggling with this energy or feeling worthy. Some of us might not, but it's still nice to affirm it for yourself. Yemoya is the divine feminine and is heavily associated with the mother, matriarchal energy. So, and it's also giving like Cancer in astrology, so like nurturing. She's a little less of the deep sea like Ulukum, but more of the shallow waters and lightness. Not that water can't, be a force and drown you, but nurturing energy is what I wanted to get at. We also have a new opportunity of wealth is heading your way. Be open to receiving windfall. Harvest is coming. Level up. Be ready. So some of you might be getting some sort of windfall, some finances this new moon as well. Or it might not be, or something material, but it might not be material. It could just be like some sort of flow of abundance that you've needed. I'm also seeing like the heart energy center being opened, so maybe there could be something to do with love, and also heard health, so something coming through that's going to be healthy for you. For us, mind you, when I'm reading like this, I'm also reading for myself as a part of the collective. We also have be bold, express your sexual energy, let out your fire. We'll do one more because we like to do 6. This little being that has the heart energy center again and the womb. They're wearing headphones like me. And cosmic communication messages, sound, whispers, activation of DNA and energetic bodies, frequency, unraveling, reset. I also heard rest, rewiring, release, vibrating, signs, third eye, throat, nervous system. Yeah, so a lot of healing taking place with this moon. I heard in this moon, but I also was seeing the moon as the body. So maybe some of us are going to feel really connected to this moon or the moon in general. We'll need to see ourselves as one with the moon. So maybe that will be like connecting to a moon cycles, manamataka, whatever that is. Yeah, and with this, we're also being called to like express our sensual and sexual energy. So maybe or some of us will be having fun in that sense. It can even be like, so sexual energy is connected to our creative energy. So it could just be tied to how we're expressing ourselves, being more confident, charismatic, and not being afraid to be bold in this way. Could be tied to our worthiness as well, like these two things. Yeah, some of us might be taking time to, or needing to take a time out to meditate, or with headphones. For me, I'm neurodivergent, so really like headphones. I love noise cancelling headphones, so maybe some of you will need some quiet time to like meditate and reflect and tap into self. And some of you will also maybe called to go to the water cleansing, water ritual. Also trusting your intuition is really important at this time, but it might be like quite linked to how you feel, and it's not always that way, but it might be at this time, especially in regards to the moon, right? I think this was coming up as a reminder for me last week, like remembering that we are water. So maybe some of us need to remember that we are water. Like we're really literally a living prayer. Water scientifically holds memory. So you speak into water, it will hold that frequency that is being emitted. I think sometimes because like I'm speaking in spiritual like lingo or whatever, you know, people can sometimes not take what you're saying seriously, but that's why I'm always reiterating and saying that African spiritual systems are a science. Like it's not just airy-fairy Western perception of spirituality that has no ground. There's a reason why we are physical beings. We're physical beings because we're meant to be physical. Like we're meant to interact with the physical world, and the spiritual and the physical world are like very much doing a dance together. So I always like to encourage and feel like I've been called to repeat myself quite a lot when it comes to like for us to stop separating the spiritual and the physical worlds and bringing them together. It's the Yoruba, or was just the Yoruba New Year, and the Odu Ifa. So the Odu Ifa is like pretty much like the holy scriptures of Ifa, the Yoruba tradition and spiritual system, and they do a divination every year. It is the year 10,068, which I think puts a lot into perspective in terms of time for Western time and how we measure it. I'm really yapping, but I just feel too. I went to see Saul Williams, who is an amazing activist and poet and musician and everything, creative vessel, the other night, and there was so much tuhu and like divine messages, and everything was a divine message, and it was such an activation and ceremony. But one of the things I remember that him saying, obviously paraphrasing, was like, what are we measuring time by? You know, it was like we measure time by Jesus Christ, like before Christ, BC, you know, and then looking at the Yoruba New Year, and it being 10,068, I was like, man, we're really, you know, these colonial systems and structures have really restricted us. And we are so much more infinite and powerful than they want us to believe. And so much older too, like humans. And in the grand scheme of things, we're probably not even that old. But anyway. Yeah, and also like water is super old as well. Water is, I even want to say like ageless. Water has been here for so long, longer than us. And we have water within our beings as well, right? So if we're praying or doing ritual and activating that like memory, or creating memory by like, say, for example, how I was saying we can speak into water and we'll hold the physical frequency. If we speak into ourselves and say things over and over again, that's how we're going to evolve, and that's the frequency that we're going to hold, because water changes form, right? And so we can literally do that with ourselves. And then if you're thinking scientifically about how the moon draws and pulls and controls or influences the water in that relationship, that means that we have that same relationship in our movements, regardless of whether you pay attention to it or not. Like, it's a scientific thing. And I think that indigenous spiritual systems remind us that we're linked to the cosmos, like above, around, below, whatever, the stars. Yeah, and that we have these navigating tools, especially if we're feeling lost. Okay. Anyway, guidance, affirmation, your constant phone number, information if you, those of love, that frequency, just increase only. Do you have for us, the collective, and those that are watching this on this new moon? Strength reversed, Leo. Guidance and information do you have for us? Ace of Swords, Eight of Swords. Yeah. Guidance and information do you have for us? Collective. this new moon? Nine of Wands. So I had King of Swords come out, but I'm going to pull one more. Oh, two more apparently. Five of Cups, the Magician. Okay, so yeah, some of us are really needing to focus on, or maybe some of us aren't feeling very strong with Strength reversed. Like, you know, classic Leo energy is like confident, is not afraid to be seen, is warm, is inviting, is open-hearted. Leo is ruled by the heart. So some of us might be dealing with some heart blocks like we were getting. Yeah, so maybe some like frequencies will help with that. You can look up like heart chakra, heart chakra frequencies on YouTube. And I'm also seeing specifically 639 hertz. That's one that like helps with like, I think, relationship. Yeah. Yeah, and there's definitely blocks within the mind for some of us. So some of us may be finding it difficult to tap into our strength. Maybe our ego's getting in the way, but that can come through fear or a lack of peace, a lack of clarity. Some of us might deal with anxiety, worry, stress, because this is equals Nine of Swords, and Nine of Swords was on the base of the deck before. I really feel like, you know, like look at this crocodile on them. That's Tauret, and it's just giving reptilian vibes. But Tauret is like giving birth to something very powerful, energies of fertility. But then there's like this thing oppressing them. So I think, and their face looks quite like hypnotized. So maybe some of us, it's like just the systems and structures and self-limiting thoughts and beliefs, anything toxic, unhealthy, patriarchy, matriarchy, whatever it is, you know, feminine, masculine, whatever. And ego as well with the Strength reverse. So some of us need to work on not being afraid of being seen, opening our heart, tapping into our inner strength. And our strength is within our heart. It's funny, I just heard like strength is not within resistance, strength is within resistance. So there's like different kinds of resistance, and also meditating on what we're resisting, if that's beneficial for us, and what, like, maybe channeling that resistance more into resisting this energy and what that looks like. So that might look like moving within more peace and clarity, and this is also being clear on our decisions and our choices. This is also Hiru, something about like the higher, the intellect. Like we need to remove all of this like bondage or whatever it is, and just like affirm focus and clarity over ourselves. Some of us also really need to heal our mind and our thoughts, those repetitive things. You know, sometimes we let ourselves just, it's interesting, I have on the top of the deck, I have Iwa Buburu, which is harmful behavior, and in Ifa, our goal or our in life is literally just to have positive or gentle or good behavior, character, let me say, because Iwa Buburu creates disharmony, and this is anything from lying, gossip, deceit, pride, impatience, arrogance, jealousy, envy, being overly angry, entitlement, constant conflict, blame shifting, no growth, you know. And we also have overwhelming toxic guilt. So these could be some of the energies that some of us have been operating from that need to be transmuted, and that there's all different things that are a part of the ego, right? Or our ego overriding us. I think we can have a healthy ego, and I think that ego is just, it's not really meant to be very loud. I think it comes through when we like completely forget who we are. So maybe some of us need to like realign our ego with our heart and think about what that looks like. Because I think without any, this is my opinion, I might change my opinion in time, but I think without any ego, we lose our sense of identity completely. But I could be wrong. Anyway, yeah, we are really called to master our thoughts with this new moon. So work on our thoughts, work on, I want to say, vibrating higher. And so yeah, some of us do actually need to raise our frequency. So that would be with speaking life over ourselves. If you're thinking, something that really helps me get out of a pattern of negative thoughts is like say I keep thinking something that's just like not helpful for me, or like I ain't good enough, or this and this and this and blah blah blah, I will, once I hear myself speak it, even if it's just internal, I will say the opposite of that in a positive sense, even if I don't believe it. And if I don't know what that truth is, I will do some meditation and reflection to write and journal and script and figure what that is. If you're really struggling, come get a reading. That's a lot of my tarot readings are based on affirmations and making sure that we have affirmations throughout the reading for you, that there's ritual that you can do if it comes through. You know, we have just our general tarot reading that you could do for 10, 20, 30 minutes. But yeah, there's a mastering of the mind that is needed. I need to consult your higher self and wisdom. And I think that a lot of us don't see the spiritual side of ourselves as wisdom, but it is. Our higher self is our own divinity. Five of Cups, the Magician. I also always get with this card like snakes and ladders. So it's really giving like the system or feeling stuck in certain things and certain ways of having to be. Yeah. This is also about like work. Some of us may have been like working quite hard and be tired, maybe need a break, or could have just be coming from overthinking. Anyway, Five of Cups, the Magician. Yeah, there's also grief that needs to be cleansed as well. Loss, emotional loss, rejection wounds. And with the Magician, that's a reminder that we have all the resources that we need. So some of us may be moving through loss or rejection or something like that. You know, a change emotionally that's kind of gotten to us. So maybe we need to tap more into logic if you want. But I see that more as a higher spiritual wisdom and peace, yet overriding. Not that you're not acknowledging your emotions, but it's like it's not all that is. And this is also someone that learns from their losses and transmutes those things into literally like whatever they need. It's alchemy. I've also been thinking about the lotus a lot. The blue lotus is up there. So like growing within murkiness, growing within confusion, pollution, and still being this like beautiful, authentic entity and medicine and ancient wisdom. So reminders there. Yeah, especially if you've gone through some sort of rejection or loss that kind of bruised your ego or something, it's like reminding yourself that you're worthy of love, joy, peace, and abundance will be really helpful. And that is linked to your spiritual wisdom. Like this is spiritual wisdom. You know, what does spiritual wisdom look like and feel like to you? Guidance and information to have the collective watching this new moon. Five of Wands, Nine of Cups, Three of Cups, Six of Swords, and the Queen of Swords at the base of the deck. So there's a pair here. So some of us may be in some sort of connection or partnership where you two are quite logical. So it doesn't have to be an emotional thing. It could be a work situation, or if it is a like where there is like some sort of connection involved, like friendship or more than that, you two could be quite logical. This also represents the different sides of ourselves. So the so-called masculine and feminine parts of the air element. So this new moon, we are harnessing those parts of ourselves. I don't know what sign the new moon is in, but the air element, so that's our voice, our breath, our thoughts, our mind. So we're called to tap. There's a lot of fives. There's Five of Pentacles, Five of Wands, Five of Cups. So we're called to tap into our inner wisdom. So this is like trusting ourselves. This is it's more of an internal energy in terms of perception, insight, foresight. So we're using that wisdom that we already have to transmute lack into generational wealth. If we have been struggling materially, financially, we're called to use that, trust our sense of wisdom and discernment. There could be a sacrifice that some of us need to make here to get the ball rolling, but some of us could be experiencing conflict within friendship. or circles or something. But this doesn't look like a negative energy. It actually, like, Five of Wands can just mean action. So maybe some of us are called to take action. We might be called to fight for fun, to make sure that we have fun and experience play in our lives in a time where it could be quite stressful, in a time where there's a lot going on in the world, and there probably will be for a little while. So it's important for us to believe in fun outcomes, even if it's just in small areas of our lives, right? Yes, for some, maybe there are things going on around us or in the world or circumstantially that, keeping us, wanting us to stay restricted, and that's also like the energies of these systems are oppressive. So maybe some of us need to heal that, need to have more fun, need to so also I'm seeing like healthy competition, so like games. So maybe like some of us will be playing games. Or also seeing it as like, I don't know, I think this card is also linked to like martial arts. Like I'm literally seeing it as like a physical game. So it could be like a sport, is what I want to say. Yeah, music, movement, exercise. We're also called, if there has been conflict, we're called to let that go and to move on from that and move away from it. This is also, some of us might need to take a break or will be. We're also called to focus on emotional contentment and harmony. Called to move on from past conflict with past people, especially. Yeah, but I'm seeing like there's an emotional satisfaction that's available for us this new moon. And it could come with like a little more attention and affection. Could come with taking a trip. It could come with rest. I also want to say a risk, so it could come with that. I want to use different cards. This incoming new moon. Closing messages. Page of Swords. Ace of Wands. And Six of Coins reversed came through. Okay, so some may be needing to speak on where you feel like there is, it says selfishness, envy, jealousy, ungiving of oneself, bad debts, unpaid loans, condescension. I don't know what that means. Condescending? Is that what it means? So where there is a not an equal exchange, one of the affirmations I have in my thing, actually maybe I'll pull from there, is all my connections and exchanges are in harmony. So being generous is important, but with the right people for you that appreciate it. There's also maybe a need to fight for your success or for our success or take action towards success. This could come through a creative idea, and it really is going to come through confidence. So some of us could be angry about something, but there's a new beginning with Ace of Wands, something that we're giving to birth to that is passionate, that is creative. Maybe that's painful, like maybe the birth, like, like labor pains, like going through something in order to give birth. So maybe there's a conflict that we experience that is actually going to bring something beautiful in the end, or a new beginning. Speaking our truth is important, and being alert to this unharmonious exchange that is potentially a potential, and I guess balancing out our material physical world. Seven of Coins. Yeah, so it's important for us to look at our investments, and there's definitely like slow growth here, but there's progress, and some of us might be saving towards something. Yeah, investing in something physically. Maybe we're called to invest in a creative project, so you might need to like save for this. You might need to like plan, take action again. Let's do one more. And we are called to move away from things that aren't healthy investments, that aren't fruitful. Yeah, got Nine of Wands again. So there could be like an idea that we have that we need to work on, and there's still a bit more work to do. Also her challenging conversations, so there might be a conversation that some of us are needing to have that is challenging, or we might need to be disciplined with our ideas. One more, please. Yeah, the Sun. So we need to be positive as well about the things that maybe aren't harmonious, and just work at rebalancing. And I also think that this new moon is bringing to light where we need to bring harmony in our exchanges. So this can be with people, this can be our finances, this can be any sort of exchange that's in the physical. where we're overgiving, where we're overspending, where we are people pleasing even. Interesting, because Three of Cups at the base of the deck again. So that's come through twice, and maybe it's like we need to have more fun. So maybe that's what is in an imbalance, or it could be the other side of that. Even in our exchange with ourselves, you know, some of us need to give to ourselves more. Could be focused too much on work or something like that. But I'm also seeing that anything, I see like certain things are going to be exposed, and anything that is exposed is a positive thing at this time. So don't ignore it.